This is Sound Experience, the show that explores the vast world of audio production through the experiences of our guest and the ears of your host, mixing engineer and producer Tim Dolbear.
Hey, welcome back to another Sound Experience powered by Intertalk Radio, your voice and my voice of the music business. I am your host, Tim Dolbear, coming to you live from beautiful Austin, Texas. And I want to thank you for joining us today for another show. And I got to give a big shout out to our sponsors straight off the top. So Front End Audio, your ultimate support or your ultimate pro audio dealer. I'm sure they sell ultimate support too, but there you go. Ultimate pro audio dealer. They're also my dealer and have been for years and years. And Source Connect by Source Element, who is the HD audio synchronizing software provider that allows me to sync into the station in San Diego from the studio here in Austin, Texas. Replaces all the stuff we did with ISDN lines. You've heard me brag about it before. If you work in studio doing any type of post work, this is a must-have. Source Connect by Source Element. All right, and a reminder, if you want to talk to me anytime about mixing your project or mastering, just give me a call, give me a holler on email or text. I've worked with Grammy winners, labels, indie artists at any budget range, and everybody gets my full and complete attention and experience. So check me out at timdolbear.com and find out about the one-song trial mix master. No risk to you. Allows you to hear what kind of signature we do with all of our stuff here. So there you go. It's been a very, very busy week, and I know it's just Monday, but last week was busy, and there's some new stuff on my blog, so make sure you hit our blog. There's links right there on the Intertalk Radio website to get over to my blog to see all the latest that's been going on, as well as listen back through all the shows that we have, not only the Sound Experience shows, but all of the other shows that are on Intertalk Radio. Is just a wealth of information, and it's such an enjoyable listen to. So make sure you take us with you wherever you go. Well, today we have all kinds of discussions going on. We have a bunch of people in the studio, and there's a lot to talk about. I have a feeling we're going to just barely hit just the tip of the iceberg on one of the 25 subjects that I have in front of me. So today we have on Josquin Dupre. He is the president and CEO of Trackstar Entertainment, I can't even speak today, co-writing numerous songs with Elton John's legendary lyricist, Bernie Taupin. He's also composed for over 20, 30, 40 TV shows. He's an incredible bass player with credits all over the place, but you also, if you play any instrument and you've ever looked through any books from various different publishers on how to do this, how to do that, if you ran across a bass book, most likely it was written by him too, because he has a huge library of work that he's done for writing. So he has friends with him too, and I have all of my friends also there at the studio. So everyone at the same time, say hi.
Hey,
hello.
Friends.
Hey. Friends.
So, Josquin Dupre, am I saying that correctly?
Yeah, actually, it's extremely good.
A lot better than me when
Fantastic.
I first interviewed where I butchered the whole thing.
I know he kept butchering it.
Well, it was Ty's fault because he told me that your name was Josquin, and I could not get that name out of my head. I thought I knew it, and he's like Josquin, and I was like,
you mean all these years I've known you?
Yep,
At least
exactly.
You recognize me, but you don't know my name.
No, like I said, when I first was introduced, he was like, "This is Josquin," and I'm like, "Okay." So for all that time, and finally, when we did the interview, you said, "Oh, it's Josquin," and I was like, "Oh," but I know now. So.
And secretly, everyone just calls you Jay at the station. So.
Exactly.
So I want to start with the very first thing. Just people who don't know you, I want them to know all about you. I knew a little bit about you, and when I dug in deeper, I could not believe the wealth of work. And I have no idea, after reading through your various websites and seeing all you have done, how did you even have time to do just the book writing part of and all of that, let alone all of this other work? So can you give us kind of a backstory and history of you, and then we'll dive into more of your day-to-day at Trackstar Entertainment. But yeah, just your history up through the years.
So, it dates back to the 70s, so now I'm really dating myself. And I got my first deal with a band that I had formed in France, and I got a deal with United Artists. And that was a division, I think, of EMI Capital at the time. and did one record, and then we didn't sell, so they dumped us. And then I did another record with RCA, and toured in Europe and decided to move to the U.S. after meeting a lot of American musicians like Alex Acuna and Jerry Goodman. So I moved to L.A. and started being a bass player. Mm-hmm. Professional bass player, and basically, the list of accomplishments that you described is just basic survival.
Right.
It's whatever you have to do to keep paying the bills and staying away from a day job. So I can proudly say I never had a day job.
Cool.
a job outside of music.
Right.
So in the 80s, I was doing sessions. I started producing French artists who wanted to record in L.A. because I knew the players and, Jeff Porcaro, Lukather, all the musicians. Mm-hmm. And then I started, I met Bernie Taupin once, and then we started working together, and I ended up a songwriter for Warner Chappell. And it's during the years with Warner Chappell that I had the time, since I was not playing bass, I had the time to start writing bass instruction books. It was my way of basically continuing, my bass playing skills.
Absolutely.
So that's the story on the bass books. And I had no idea that they would sell what they've sold.
Right.
But I'm glad they did, because I'm still collecting.
That is good. Are you still putting any out as you go?
No, I haven't written a bass book in close to 20 years. But the main one, called Bass Fitness, is being released as an app in late October.
You announced that at the NAMM show, right? The Winter NAMM. You were announcing it. I remember when you mentioned that.
Yeah, I mentioned it's not announced yet. Actually, the release. Right.
Well,
actually, it's the first time. Yeah, but the release of the app is going to be somewhat launched at the Bass Player Live convention in Hollywood. Yeah,
November.
Yeah, early November.
Okay.
So that's the official release by Hal Leonard Publishing, because they own the book. I don't. You know how that goes, right?
That was like one of the top-selling books of all time, right?
Yeah, top-selling bass instruction book in the history of the instrument.
Wow.
Yeah, I used to work at music stores through my late teens, early 20s, as I was also playing the clubs and stuff, and I have sold that book dozens of times.
Wow, thank you.
Yeah. Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, I'll give you my address for the check.
Okay.
And,
I'm not sure it'll clear, but
it's good. That's cool. But very, very popular book. I mean, just that's Anyway, continue.
and then what was happening. Other publishers came to me. Mel Bay, Alfred Publishing, Warner Brothers, and they all wanted me to write books, but the problem was, it just wasn't that good. After I wrote 3 or 4 that were good, and they came up. I remember, I won't mention the publisher, but one publisher came to me and asked me to write a book called Hip Hop Bass, and I'm going, okay, what is it? Anything they could make money. If I put my name on it, they go, okay, we're going to sell it. So I wrote some of these books, but I'm not extremely proud of them.
Okay.
What being the bass player that I am, that's kind of interesting. What would be what would it consist of? What would the content consist of? Because when I think of hip hop bass, I think of 808.
Well,
yeah, exactly.
I was thinking more old school. I was thinking more of the groove, that hip hop groove.
Yeah.
The how do you call it? The swing kind of groove.
Oh, yeah.
That hip hop has.
Kind of New Jack City stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's where I leaned. But to be honest, it was a lousy book.
Get your copy today. What an endorsement.
Yeah. Well, you have to be honest with yourself. And then they kept coming at me. And then I told them I'm not writing any more books. I hope they're not listening.
Hey, but it's out there, for those guys who want. Though.
But it doesn't mean it's bad.
Yeah.
It could. I ran into. Okay, I wrote another book called Disco Bass.
Okay.
Okay, I think it's completely goofy. Some people love it. So
wouldn't it just be one page about octaves?
Exactly. It's tons of octaves.
Walk it down to the sixth.
And all the left and right hand exercises to be able to do these octaves at any possible speed.
Hey, it's an art form for sure. That's a lot of cats can't play it, so I would recommend the book. I'd say
actually that one was better than hip hop bass.
But you've powered a generation of bass players for sure.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's move on. So in early 2000, you started a new company. So let's jump into that part.
Well, before that, I was, producing. I moved to San Diego after Warner Chappell was not paying staff writers anymore. And, and I started working with people from Cargo Records. I don't know if you're familiar with Cargo. And that was we had a great run. I mean, Cargo signed Blink-182. Then I had some of my own artists that were local artists, and also the Young Dubliners, the Irish band. And did some records with them, and that's when I built my studio in San Diego. And after that, I built Trackstar Entertainment when the music industry started falling apart. And I figured we couldn't sell records anymore, so I had to do something else. So I got in the software development, which is, we started doing software plugins with a company called Nomad Factory with a friend of mine.
Absolutely.
And, we created in La Mesa the first tube simulation plugins. And unfortunately, my business partner passed away recently, but I don't even know if the company is still running. I sold my shares about 5 years ago. So got into software. Then I did another software called Instant Popstar. That was in 2010.
I remember seeing that on the shelves.
Yeah, that was everywhere at Fry's.
Yeah, that's where I seen it.
And, to be honest, you were asking earlier, how do I get the time to do all this? Maybe that's why I'm still single.
There you go. Oh, there, yeah. Okay, absolutely.
All the ladies out there, just remember, Mr. Good Looking over here. I love your haircut.
Exactly.
I got the same barber.
Yeah, we have the same barber. But I just get caught up in what I do, and I love doing it.
Yep, that's cool. That is cool.
So Trackstar Entertainment. I started focusing on music libraries and music for television. Music libraries, we started doing libraries. We started actually with David Garibaldi. That was our first one. The Tower of Power drummer. I created his library called Tower of Funk. We sold, quite a few of them at the beginning. I released it. And then I started getting into that. Music libraries for different musicians and different musical styles.
One of the things, I was going to jump in here, Tim, for a second.
Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
One of the things that I've appreciated about you, Josquin, is that it is a difficult industry, and you've been able to find very key niches that really provide a lucrative, like you said, you haven't had to work a crazy day job. I had to, I spent 13 years with Microsoft to power my habits, my bad habits of music. So
that's not a bad place to work, actually.
Well, I'm glad where I'm at right now. So, I just kind of want to throw that in there because it's important for people to recognize in this industry that, you've got to be creative. You've got to be inventive. You got to be a visionary, and you got to find different places where you can find a little bit of revenue because it's important and to not just pigeonhole yourself.
Yeah, I'm not. I've always managed to come up with ideas. I know who I am and I know my abilities as a bass player, as a producer, as a songwriter, and I've always, it's kind of a miracle actually what I turned it in. I'm an okay bass player, I'm okay songwriter, but I managed to turn it into something by trying to understand the market and what people are looking for. This is what a lot of musicians fail to do. They fail to understand, they do their music and they don't pay attention to what the buyer wants.
Yeah.
4-chord song can go very far.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, I see that with your company, Trackstar Entertainment, just on the front page of your website. Not only do you mention you see a ton of companies flashing across here that you've worked with, but you guys are doing songwriting, producing for artists, film and television, royalty-free music libraries, sample libraries, video game music, and sound, I imagine, too. Artist development, artist management, celebrity bookings. This is not just a small, I decided we'd make a sample library type of company. You have really expanded into many, many genres to fill many niches.
Yeah, and I'm not by myself,
Right.
I have actually a guy in Austin, a guy in Los Angeles, a guy in France, and one of our success stories recently, the past couple of months, is a band called Leave the Universe that I developed for 3 years. And about 4 months ago, they got interest from Parlophone in London, who flew out to see them and basically decided to fly them to London. And they're now living in London, wrapping up their first EP. And, so that's one of our good stories of this year.
Fantastic.
3 years of development. They're just 21 now.
Yeah, well, there's nothing on your page that says this is overnight success. But still, the fact that it's 15 years since you started it and you have gotten into so many different areas successfully is fantastic. We're on a break here in about 7 seconds. The music's going to start jamming in the background. So when we come back, let's kind of dive into some of those different areas and how you manage those different areas and stuff. So you're listening to Sound Experience, powered by Intertalk Radio, your voice of the music biz. We'll be back in a couple of minutes.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
You know what's all around you every waking moment of your life? Marketing. You're choking on it. I'm Scott Robertson, and when it comes to strategic PR, branding, and marketing, I've seen it all. And actually, I'm still seeing it because bad marketing never sleeps. Join me each week on May the Best Brand Win, right here on Intertalk Radio, and learn how to make the marketing for your brand unforgettable.
This is Jackie Bertoni from Jackie's Groove. Come join me weekly on my journey through the music business as I take you behind the velvet rope, interviewing industry notables such as Al Di Meola, Michael McDonald, and Al Jarreau, to name but a few. Listen to their stories on being in the studios recording #1 hits and onto the stages throughout the globe. Allow me to be your music historian. You can hear me live every Monday at 2 p.m. and every Wednesday at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time or 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com. Ready to get your groove on?
Hey, it's Tracy Smith
and Beth Venus
of Girls Talk Rock right here on the Intertalk Radio Network.
Every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Pacific.
Okay, Beth, they know that, but we want you to know that the industry pro's choice is Silver Tiger Production.
SDP is a full-service production agency offering sound, lighting, installations, talent buying, staffing, backline equipment rental, and sales. Kapow!
It's everything in the entertainment performance industry. It's all that. SilverTigerProduction.com.
This is Sound Experience, the show that explores the vast world of audio production through the experiences of our guest and the ears of your host, mixing engineer and producer Tim Dolbear.
Hey, welcome back to segment 2. Glad you could join us. And let's jump right back into the stories that we were talking about. One of the things I have noted down here is some success stories of 2016. What else has happened this year? You mentioned the band that's now in London, finishing up being developed and doing their EP and such. What other things have been going on that you like to talk about?
There's a local artist in San Diego named Savannah Filiaw. She's a young acoustic artist, and her dad came to me several times asking me to produce some songs. I never got around to it, and over the last couple of years, and finally I accepted, and I did 2 songs, and he had asked me, could you play it to some of the people, in television? I said, well, I can play it, but I'm not going to guarantee that anything's going to happen, Right. I told him it's like buying lotto tickets. And so we recorded, produced a couple of songs very differently than what she usually does. I did it in the style of what I usually get placement with. And I sent it to Warner Brother Television, and they picked it up. They picked up 1 song, and then they asked for 4 more. So
fantastic.
That was a great little story with Savannah Filiaw. So basically, these are songs that get placed in TV shows produced by Warner Brothers, and they have quite a few. I can't remember right from the top of my head, but I know that Ellen DeGeneres is the executive producer for several of their shows, and so it'll be used in some of those, and basically that's it, So and then I'm working with another 14-year-old singer named Marissa McRoberts, a 15-year-old named Savannah Caulfield, a great singer-songwriter from San Diego called Nina Francis. I'm working with another one called Alicia Savoca, and I'm working with a new artist that I just met recently that I'm real excited about, named Brianna, and she's actually with us in the studio.
Hey. Absolutely. Say hey.
Hey.
We have to have you talking to the mic project a little bit.
Okay, I'm a little closer now.
There we go.
So maybe she came to me through somebody called me and connect. Actually, she sent me an email.
I sent you an email.
Yeah, sent me an email. Came over, we had a conversation. I went to see her play, and I liked it, and now maybe you can talk about it.
Yeah, I was referred to you by a friend, and I sent him this email, and he responded right away, which isn't really typical in the business. Usually I'm waiting forever, and that really intrigued me. And set up a consultation because, as Josquin said, a lot of us singer-songwriters, we focus so much on the art and the creation of it and don't really hone in on the business side of it. And so that really intrigued me about Josquin because I thought, I think I can learn a lot from this guy. And already knew that the moment that we had the consultation. And then he even came out and saw my show that night. I invited him and he came, and I thought, this is someone who is really in love with what he does and believes in the art and the community, which I think San Diego is really about. And that's what I love about it, more so than LA, is because it's a very supportive and, very supportive of the artists and community.
Yes, absolutely. It's really tough in Los Angeles, which is where I'm from and came up through the ranks. And it's cold. And there's a million people, so everyone's jaded.
Yeah.
Because everyone wants to do the same thing.
Right.
And it's competitive the way sports is competitive, as opposed to it's art. What are we competing about? It's art. Do your best, strive for excellence.
Yeah.
So, well, that's really cool. So it strikes me odd that when someone reached out to you, then you went. Because for the most part, people don't, through my experience, when you reach out to them, it's hard to even get a reply back, let alone get someone actually out to a show or a showcase. So that's really cool.
Yeah, someone who had been at my studio had recommended her, so I saw the email, and it was just like the proper timing. I was available that night, and I wanted to go out and listen to music.
Yep.
That's cool.
And, so I really liked, and we started talking. We're going to, the goal is to get some music on air, and applying the rules that I usually apply, and hopefully they'll work again. It's always a shot in the dark.
I have
absolutely.
I have a question, Tim. I'll jump in. What was the venue that you were at?
We were at Zell's in Del Mar.
Zell's. Yeah. I'm not familiar with that one.
It's right on the 101.
Tiny little bar.
Okay.
Wine bar.
Because it's hard. Yeah, singer-songwriters is hard in this town. There used to be. I mean, back with Jewel time, there used to be like this was the place, right?
Well, they've still Java Joe's,
right?
Yeah,
but that's like it. And a lot of the other clubs that are in town, they don't give this much opportunity,
right? And they just opened up in Del Mar as well, Brick 15, which is a new music venue.
Very nice venue.
Very nice.
Okay,
very
sound
nice
system,
venue.
Everything.
Awesome
there,
sound system.
Okay.
If you haven't been, I encourage everyone to go check it out. Look it up online because they have a lot of great acts already coming through, and I think they're booked up through this year already, every Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Nice. Little local shout out, folks. I'm sorry, I just had to jump in because I was like, where are we getting the talent to going to be at? Because San Diego's been a little tough when it comes to a lot of clubs closing down here and there. There's one thing we do a lot of work with the Music Box, so that's
well, that's a nice room.
Yeah, that's a good place and the good people over there.
All cities, large cities and medium-sized cities are changing big time because there's such an influx of people coming in. In Austin, 10 years ago, there was 200,000 people. Now there's over 1 million in 10 years. Wow. And so obviously the property values downtown have shot through the roof, and it's chasing out all the music venues and really changing the landscape. And so people who make their living playing in bands and either cover bands or trying to do originals out there and stuff, not only is it difficult because you're not getting paid what you should, that's a whole different discussion, but just finding places to still play is tough, and good places too, because there's nothing funner than being a singer-songwriter and having the guy running the board screw up your mix when there's only a guitar and a vocal.
Right.
And it takes talent for that. There's a whole other radio program about that.
Exactly, and there's another radio program about getting paid.
Yes.
It's a really tough situation, and I have a slightly different take on it than most people. I think the musicians themselves are a little bit responsible, for providing free entertainment, and it's very hard now to turn that back. When I hear an open mic, to me it translates into free entertainment.
Yep.
And after that it's hard. I feel a musician should be able to go in and even get $50, but they should get paid.
Yeah. Yeah, we've devalued it.
Exactly.
Through Los Angeles through the 80s, the bands were willing to do pay to play. And the minute that someone was willing to do that to get a good spot, it's game over.
Absolutely.
It's completely destroyed the industry and flipped it upside down, where all of a sudden you're paying to be there.
That's a really good point, bizarre. Tim. How do we build that back up then?
You can't, because it's been established. And also the fact that there's so many acts now. If you go back to 1960 and if you were, or let's say 68, and you were a great guitar player, you were a standout and everyone knew you and you were able to work. And now if you're a great guitar player, well, fantastic. Go stand over there with the other 50 million really good guitar players.
Tim, wouldn't you agree that GIT created that in the 80s?
Yes. In fact, I graduated from GIT. Thank you very much.
I mean, everybody... but
yes,
everybody...
They were stamping them out. Just stamp out. Generic guitar player, one after another. Everyone could do a sweep and no one could write a song.
Exactly.
And when I went there, it was all about the song for me. And so I spent all my time learning songwriting and hanging out with the guys that would teach me the business side of it because of the fact it's a business.
Right.
And that did me good. But everyone else that I went to school there, I don't know anyone who's doing music full time. I'm the only person that I know of who actually has been a full-time musician this entire time.
Celebrate.
Doing music in some sort. Huge blessing, by the way. Huge shout out to my man upstairs. Huge blessing that I get to do this because, as my example I always use, I could be selling shoes to children at the mall. So
welcome Al Bundy.
Oh, that's true. I'm just not sweaty enough of a person to be Al Bundy. So,
oh God.
All right, let's pull this train back on the track then. So when you bring in a new artist that you're working with and you're producing them and developing them, what's your process for developing a direction to take them career-wise, either for placement for TV, building live show? How does that whole process and thought process work out for you?
Well, there is no formula, as you probably know.
Right.
You're a producer. I mean, you get different acts all the time, and you approach them differently. It starts with a lot of conversations and a lot of drinking coffee and talking about things, and until there's that moment where it clicks. But usually I'll get involved with artists where I feel, just from meeting them, that we can have, a connection of some kind. And usually it's going to start with songwriting, with, maybe we're going to work on a chorus together and see where it goes, and then bring it in the studio and start developing a song. And, pretty much naturally I pull in material in the direction of film and television because I understand that market. So I have that fairly well figured out. And
cool.
And Brianna here in particular was interested in, to me, this is like the film and television thing is a great way to break an artist. I mean, look at the amount of people who broke through Grey's Anatomy. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So it's if you can get a song in a show, and it starts small, but if you can get some songs, play, especially for a young artist, it's a great thing.
Yes. Yeah, I always push everybody on getting it out there for film and television because that's the number one place where you're going to get huge exposure if you get picked up, as well as a little bit of a paycheck coming in, and it could end up being a larger paycheck too.
Right. And my approach in general, and of course now it works differently because I know the music supervisors. I literally call and ask what they're looking for. So I call it, this is going to sound terrible, I call it making Subway sandwiches. If they want a song, if they want a sandwich with turkey and Swiss, I don't make a steak sandwich. I make sure they get exactly what they asked for.
Yep. I have a acquaintance who lives in Nashville, and I won't give his name. He's famous and has been doing this a long time, and he's with a group of songwriters. They're all in different bands, but they're this group of songwriters, and they know all the different publishers and people who are music supervisors, people looking for material. And so they get phone calls from these guys, and they're like, we're looking for a song that sounds kind of like this. Do you have one in your library? And their answer is always, I think we do. Hang on. Let me check on that. Can I get back to you about 4 o'clock today?
Yeah, and then they go in and they write it.
Hang up the phone, they write it, cut the demo, and submit it.
Yeah.
And it's just, when I heard about that from him, I was just like, you what?
Yeah, some of those Nashville songwriters.
It's brilliant.
And they're very good. Yeah, they're very good.
Yeah. And it makes sense because, of course, you don't have a song for everything. And if you do, if your library's that big, you're not able to really grasp it. So being able to tailor-make something exactly, tailor-make a song for Taylor Swift style, there you go.
Right.
And
we have, the way we've, over the years at Trackstar, what we prepared tons of libraries of chord progressions that are already pretty much ready to go. And we have different drummers that have played grooves. I have Danny Barragan, who's played with Pitbull, who did like a huge drum library for me. And basically, we can pull chord progressions, guitar parts, and we can basically assemble all this stuff fairly quickly. Usually we can do a fairly good song demo in 2 hours.
Yep.
I mean, I wouldn't call it a master, but, something
No.
to give an idea.
Yep. Wow, that's just amazing. And it's at one side of when you hear that kind of thing described, you think of, well, that's just song manufacturing and that's just bleh. But on the other side, it takes an artist to be able to do that. Because it's not just a computer throwing it together. It's
Right.
still art, no matter how fast. It's just I'm now going to do this, and that's the art that flows out.
I attribute it totally to having been doing it for years. I mean, my songwriting improved massively when I started writing with Bernie Taupin, as you can imagine,
Right.
I felt I had to rise to the occasion, and he would, and then more, and then plenty. He put some lyrics in front of me, all written out, and I had to turn that into a song. And so, when I did that, I just felt, I had to rise to the occasion and change my concept. So now the reason I'm able to do this is because, it's all the practice I had before. So there is art. The difference is I can take the art that I've studied and learned and channel it into a direction that is, what the market is asking for.
Discipline. That's the discipline right there.
Yeah, I would, yeah.
That's very cool. And that's not just something that someone can tell you about and you pick up on instantly. That's your own natural workflow as an artist developing and coming to fruition. That's really, really cool.
Yeah.
Really cool.
But it sounds easy, and believe me, but I still worry every day I have to write a song when I get that call. It's still, no, what am I going to do?
If you weren't an artist, you wouldn't have any of that fear or worry or anything. But as an artist, there's always that. And that's good because a lot of us all feed on that.
Yeah, isn't that amazing that you can do it all these years and you still have insecurities about coming up with something that people are going to think is cheesy or not up to the level?
Yep, exactly. All right, we're down to the next segment, or the commercial before the next segment. So I'm going to, we got the 4-second countdown and then the music starts. So we'll be right back and we'll dive into some more stuff that I have here in front of me. This is really cool. Okay, so we'll be back in a couple minutes. You're listening to Sound Experience, powered by Intertalk Radio, the voice of the music biz. We'll be right back. Hi, this is Tim Dolbear, host of Sound Experience here on Intertalk Radio. And Source Connect by Source Element is the essential tool that we use to link between my studio in Austin, Texas, and the WS radio station in San Diego. Now, with Source Connect, not only can we communicate in real time and with HD audio, but it's synced up and is of a high enough quality that I can use it for real-time ADR work, remote recording, and overdubbing, and it even allows me to remotely control a DAW. Source Connect by Source Element. Affordable, high-quality audio and video connection over the internet for all of your production needs.
You know what's all around you every waking moment of your life? Marketing. You're choking on it. I'm Scott Robertson, and when it comes to strategic PR, branding, and marketing, I've seen it all. And actually, I'm still seeing it because bad marketing never sleeps. Join me each week on May the Best Brand Win, right here on Intertalk Radio, and learn how to make the marketing for your brand unforgettable.
Girls are talking rock again.
And people are listening.
Today we're talking bands.
Let's talk promotion. Red Giant promo, graphics, EPKs, video, photos, social media, and brand building using content marketing.
But let's talk studio at CCMA, which is events, rehearsal, tour prep, piano, guitar, voice, rock band, lessons, workshops, and clinics. Yeah!
Bulls, proud sponsors of Girls Talk Rock.
Well, get the lowdown on these services and contact me, Tracy, at girlstalkrock.com.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
This is Sound Experience, the show that explores the vast world of audio production through the experiences of our guest and the ears of your host, mixing engineer and producer Tim Dolbear.
Hey, how you guys doing? Welcome back to part 3. I'm on with Josquin Dupre and a bunch of other people. We're kind of having the party phone today, so it's been a really cool show. And I'm going to take you in a completely different direction now in our conversation. Being that the Sound Experience, let's talk about certain experiences that you've had over time. So, what was your first studio experience like?
It was in France. It was in a basement in Paris, underground. And they had an 8-track machine. It was in 1975.
Cool.
And I don't remember the brand of the 8-track, whatever the popular 8-track machines were back then. And we did a demo. And with that demo, we were able to get our deal with United Artists Records.
Cool.
And it was great. You know what I loved about it, and I realize it more now, is, we would record, of course, as a full band. Nothing like Pro Tools now. We would record, right. no metronome, nothing. We just jammed and played until we had good takes. But what I liked is when I would go back in the control room, it sounded bigger than what we had heard in the headphones. And it's all that tape fatness that we always talk about.
Yep.
That we don't get anymore, that we've tried with all these plugins to recreate, but there's nothing like it.
Yep.
So that was my first experience.
What was your next experience once you got on the label?
So once we got on the label, they sent us, and this is always great, especially in France, they sent us to a studio on the outskirts of Paris that was on a farm. And you're probably familiar with many bands that have recorded in France, including Elton John. At the Honky Chateau album was done in a castle that is a recording studio. Pink Floyd recorded, and Miraval in the south. So basically, these type of studios have, a kitchen, a chef, dorm rooms, and you're basically doing a record for 3 weeks, and you're up all night, just playing until you get the right takes, the right overdubs, and unfortunately, the budgets nowadays do not allow this anymore.
Right.
Budgets, what are those?
Yeah, no kidding. Now, everybody's doing records at home and finishing them up, at major studios, or vice versa.
But Tim's got the mastering thing down, so that's definitely
good. I got the mixing.
Yeah, mixing and mastering.
You do mastering, though. You do mastering, though, right?
Absolutely, but mixing's the forte. I am, and I'm a foot and a half away from my MCI tape machine right now.
Wow,
so
that's great. The old.
It sounds good. It's not even turned on, and it sounds good right now.
Yeah, so that's a 24-track, right?
No, because I'm mixing to it. It's mixed down deck.
Okay, mixed down. 2-inch or, a quarter-inch or half?
It's quarter-inch 15 IPS.
Cool.
And just...
So you'll have the fatness.
I call it the nicer, and there is no plugin that sounds like the real thing. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And I've reviewed plugins for Mix Magazine that are tape things, and not even close.
So...
for a plugin, they're good. But,
did you try the Nomad Factory when we were happening? Yeah, they were actually pretty good.
Yeah, all of them are good, but it's not there.
Yeah.
It's not there.
Well,
it's just not.
It's not the real deal.
Yeah, and I'm all about real deal ones. But anyway, back to studio stuff. What were some of the things in those early studio experiences that made you go, this is it? I love studio stuff.
Well, the whole music experience in general. That was always amazing. Being able, at first we were barely getting paid, but being able to show up and you're doing what you love and you're playing your instrument and you're playing the songs you wrote or co-wrote and being recorded. And it's like, is this well, at first I didn't realize how lucky I felt, at first, but all of a sudden I started looking back and I'm going, this is actually pretty cool. I need to keep doing this. Especially when I arrived in LA and I started playing with my heroes,
Right.
All of a sudden it's like, wow, this guy's a normal guy and he's talking to me.
Right.
And he actually made me a compliment. He must have not been listening.
Right. So it's really the whole experience of it that has been the thing for you that's kept driving you and made you fall in love with it.
Yeah.
One of the things you mentioned was capturing it live. Do you still capture music live as far as group playing together or the rhythm section playing together? And what's your opinions and thoughts on that?
Well, it's unfortunately you can, by the type of music that I do now, everything has to be to a click, perfectly locked in frames and all that stuff. So, we literally we have our own library of loops and everything is played together. Playing together just does not happen very much in my world. I'm not saying that I'd love to do it. I enjoyed I did a record in 1998, the Young Dubliners. I did that with Steve Albini, actually. Mm-hmm. And, we recorded them live at the Belly Up Tavern, which is a club in San Diego. Mm-hmm. And they did 2 nights in a sold-out room. We brought in a studio called Le Mobile. That is, yeah. Are you familiar with the Le Mobile?
No, but that's the kind of name of the truck that I would picture coming to it. Absolutely. It's perfect name.
Well, it's very simple. My friend Guy Charbonneau from Quebec, who used to own Le Studio,
who did sophisticated when you put "le" in front of it.
Exactly.
I was just at Le Mastering Labs in a year ago up there in Montreal.
Tim, when you get a moment, check out lemobile.com. It's incredible. And he's done everything from Hell Freezes Over, Eagles, to Metallica with the orchestra. He does, Grammys. I mean, incredible, situation, incredible truck. So anyway, we brought that over to the Belly Up Tavern. Steve Albini did the recording. Then he went and tried to mix it at Abbey Road, and then Cargo asked me to remix it. For some reason, the manager was not happy with the mixes, and then I redid some of the recording. Live can be a little chaotic with an Irish band.
I can imagine.
So some stuff had to be re-recorded, and so that was cool. And so that was really I recorded some other live bands after, but that was the last, 2-inch, recording that I can remember. So it's quite a while.
Dig it. Yeah.
18 years.
Then that's a challenge for you.
Yeah.
On one of the singer-songwriters that you have coming up through, do one of the songs totally live band.
We do that.
I haven't done that in a long time, and I did that last spring where we tracked live, and I actually played bass on the session, which isn't my normal instrument, but I do play.
Was that Amanda's project?
It was no. It was Paul Martinez' new single that we're doing right now, and I can't believe the life that it has in the rhythm section because of us just no click. Actually, yeah, it was to a click, but it was all we played it live straight through. There's no edits or overdubs or anything. No fixes, no pro tooling or anything. Yeah. And it's just what a feel to it. It's so cool, and it kind of opened my eyes again.
Yeah, it would be something. The issue is with budget restrictions. I mean, it makes it hard.
Right.
You're bringing people together, and you got to set up and get all the sounds up, and so we go the easy route. Another project I did live was actually Jack Johnson, the very early 2000s. He recorded just him and his guitar in my studio, and it was freaking incredible.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah. He recorded the first version of Rodeo Clowns, actually. Yeah,
that is really cool.
And
that is really cool.
Another band, Slightly Stupid from San Diego, we did live. But this goes
That's
back
cool.
15, 16 years. See, I forgot for a while here. I've been doing it a little more active than I think.
You've had a few years in it, but
Yeah, it's been a few years.
still look young, man. How do you keep that? That's what I want to know.
Music keeps you young.
That's true.
Music.
Yeah. I know
Okay,
when I said
one of the
1975, you started going, how old is this guy?
We're all that old. Yeah. Okay, so another note that I had down on you was you're doing a project for bass players.
Well, yeah, it's not my project. I've been asked to play bass on it, and I was extremely honored because when I saw the people playing on there, I'm going, are you sure you guys want me on there? So anyway, it's they're bass players. I don't know the name of the CD, but it's coming out in a month. Bunny Brunel's on it, Stanley Clarke, Billy Sheehan, Steve Bailey, Victor Wooden, Adrian Farreau, who plays with Chick Corea, Armand Sabaleko used to play with Paul Simon, and I played on a track with Stanley Clarke, which is great.
Wow, very cool.
Yeah.
So what are the songs like and such?
It's
Tell
all
us more about it.
Yeah, it's fusion. It's what I call, bass acrobatics, bass aerobics. Except I'm the one playing a groove, and Bunny Brunel and Stanley Clarke are doing the acrobatics.
Yeah, we just seen
Right.
him. He was just in concert last week, and amazing. So he had his bass player, and then he was doing what the guitar player might be doing.
Right, yeah. So this is exactly what we did on the record.
Yeah.
I played
that's
bass,
cool.
and he's jamming. Yeah.
Okay, so this CD comes out, it says in the notes that I have, by the end of the year, hopefully. Any idea what the title is going to be, where it's available, stuff like that?
No, actually, I asked Bunny Brunel if I could even mention it, so he gave me very little information. He said absolutely, but I don't know the title yet.
Cool. When it comes out, we should have you back on, and any of them that you want to bring with you and talk about that. Because I'd love to also hear more about the process of it, because doing an album that's very bass-focused like that brings into question a lot of different things, because in one sense, if you capture it too much of just a bass thing, it doesn't appeal completely to what your ears are tuned into.
Right.
And so I'm really interested to see how it's approached, where it captures everything in such a way that it doesn't put off the listener. Without me, I mean, that's a horrible way of saying it, but you know what I'm trying to convey.
Oh, absolutely.
On that.
It's fairly, I haven't heard all of it. I've heard a couple of tracks that were recorded at my studio, and I heard the one I played on, and it's actually, fairly good. And on top of that, there's, people like Steve Ferrone playing drums, and let me see, Steve Ferrone and Larry Dunn from Earth, Wind and Fire,
Wow.
played
Cool.
keyboards and wrote a couple of tracks. So, I think there's 14 songs. So
I want to know if there's a cover of Spinal Tap's Big Bottom. That's what I want to know. Somebody had to do the cover of that.
no kidding, they should have. Yeah, I need to bring that up.
At least a hidden track of it.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Oh, that would have been amazing. Yeah, but I mean,
not too late.
Guys like Victor Wooden is so spectacular, and Bunny Brunel. These, like I said, I mean, I'm glad they invited me. That was great.
Absolutely. I'm jealous. That's very cool. I love when musicians or producers, whoever put this together, thought, hey, let's do this and get people involved, and they just get together and it's just a release. You just do it and you have fun with it. It's a fun project as opposed to some of the other tedious stuff that we end up doing in the business often.
Yeah.
It just sounds like such a fun project.
Yeah, that was definitely fun.
Cool. Well, we only have about 3.5 minutes left on this. Is there anything you want to promote other than the CD that we just talked about that's upcoming that we should be looking forward to and looking for you on?
Well, the Bass Fitness app. That was my
Yes.
That's my new thing in 2016. My best-selling book is an app, and it's actually quite a bit more than the book, because the book was written only for 4-string. This is for 4-string, 5-string, and 6-string bass. And,
Cool.
you can listen, the exercises. You can play them. You can record yourself playing them. It's actually very well done. The lady who did the encoding used to work for Autotune, so I think all the notes are in tune perfectly. So, it's one of those things, I come up with ideas, and then I find a developer to, create them, which is never easy.
Yeah, exactly. Without putting their own spin on it. Well, let's take it this direction.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm always open to ideas. But now, one last thing. I mean, I'm always interested in listening to music. I know on the website it says do not send any, unsolicited material. But, you can send it to info@Trackstar Entertainment. We're always looking for writers for television. And we're overloaded. Like this week, we got to turn in about 5 tracks. And so, good songwriters are always welcome.
Great. That's very cool.
Yeah.
Okay, and we're going to have all the contact information also up on, if you're listening to this, and I imagine you are if you just heard me say that, on the page that you're on here at Intertalk Radio on the Sound Experience page. We'll have links to this. We'll also have links back to trackstarentertainment.com. And also, I believe you have another site also for like the bass books and stuff, correct?
Yeah, that's justcandepray.com. I don't know the last time that was even updated. I have no idea what's on there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, then that would be the adventure website for people to go to.
Yeah, but it's more, about what I do as a bass player and producer and something like that, I think.
Awesome. Well, thank you so very much for coming down to the station, hanging out with all of us, and sharing all of this killer information. I hope you had as much fun as I did.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Tim.
Yeah, I'm glad it was able to happen because we've been trying to get Josquin down here to the new studios, and so it was serendipitous that he did.
It worked out perfect. And there's a lot of really cool upcoming stuff coming too, so that's awesome. I can't wait for this bass CD.
Yeah, and let's be looking out for Brianna's new songs also.
Cool.
Do you have a URL, Brianna? Do you have your website up yet?
You can go to Reverb Nation and then Brianna, which are all my songs are on iTunes right now. And the spelling of my name is BRIAHNNA. And then you'll find it there for sure. Yeah. Thanks for the support.
We'll try to put a link to that also on the Sound Experience page.
Great.
So that way everyone loves good listening, so we will check it out.
Thanks
That's
for
it.
having us.
So I really appreciate everyone being here. Remember, you can contact us either through intertalkradio.com. You can contact me at timdolbear.com. And I appreciate you listening. So this has been Sound Experience with Tim Dolbear. And all of my guests and everyone at the studio, we're signing off from Austin, Texas. Now go make some music. Hi, this is Tim Dolbear from Eclectica Studios. I'm a full-time mixing and recording engineer. I work with Grammy winners, labels, and indie artists, using state-of-the-art digital mixing and restoration tools and the very best in analog gear. Really, though, it's my ability to bring tracks to life and fulfill your vision for your music. This has made me sought after by producers and artists worldwide. So spend your time working on music and not chasing a mix down a rabbit hole. Go to timdolbear.com and check out our free one-song mix offer.
This is Jackie Bertoni from Jackie's Groove. Come join me weekly on my journey through the music business as I take you behind the velvet rope, interviewing industry notables such as Al Di Meola, Michael McDonald, and Al Jarreau, to name but a few. Listen to their stories on being in the studios recording #1 hits and onto the stages throughout the globe. Allow me to be your music historian. You can hear me live every Monday at 2 p.m. and every Wednesday at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time or 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com. Ready to get your groove on?
You know what's all around you every waking moment of your life? Marketing. You're choking on it. I'm Scott Robertson, and when it comes to strategic PR, branding, and marketing, I've seen it all. And actually, I'm still seeing it because bad marketing never sleeps. Join me each week on May the Best Brand Win, right here on Intertalk Radio, and learn how to make the marketing for your brand unforgettable.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.